So can you etch an X on an Atomstack Pro? That would be a no. But you can etch away the mask and then electro etch it. Enjoy. So here we got a Collins X. Here's an automotive primer for the mask. Use the laser to burn away paint in the areas that are going to get etched. Look closely, you can see some of it shiny, and anything that's shiny that's completely burned through will etch. I'm gonna use an eraser and find a pencil and just see if I can wipe off some of the carbon with a pencil. So it's a little blotchy, and this automotive paint holds up really well to being disturbed. I've used other paints, but this automotive, if you polished up the axe and got it real shiny, most of the paints will kind of chip when you're doing something like this. But even when you're just putting it in the etching solution, some of it will wear off. It just doesn't adhere to the shiny metal well. Right? So the shinier it is, the easier it's going to be to etch. Should give me some good detail. Right. That one's ready. Get etched. I am going to etch something on the other side. Might be a people may hate me for it, but I'm going to do the Black Raven. Put my name down in the bottom corner. Put my name on the axe. So setting up the axe table for the axe. So this side one, I'm going to do side two now. And I got stops, back stop, side, and the other side. So you can push this, make sure this is in all the way, tight, so it doesn't move. And we're ready to go. So here's the axe after just using the eraser. Try and hit it with an alcohol wipe. It's the first time I've tried this though. All right, so the alcohol shouldn't affect the paint. So we're going to find out. that works. Go ahead and try and etch it. All right, at this point, you got to choose how you're going to etch. You can do an acid etch, ferric chloride. It's messy. I don't like using it or trying to clean up after it. You can just use a straight up battery. Connect your positive and negative leads. You can use a smart charger if you have that available. The one thing with this, trying to get this guy going, is sometimes once you get the probes in the salt water, it may not start conducting, it may not start charging because it doesn't think a battery is connected. It's smart, right? So having a battery on hand, you can send the voltage to salt water that you're etching in and the battery, and you can disconnect the battery after you're done. But just to kickstart this charger, you might need a battery. Right, so I'm not going to use that guy. I do have this big die-hard 12-volt manual battery charger, 10 amps or 2 amps. Just because you have it set to 10 amps doesn't mean it's going to draw 10 amps. It all depends on how much metal is showing on the axe. Where there's only a little bit showing, it's not going to draw a lot of amperage, right? The bigger the metal, the more it'll draw. And the same with the ground, right? So once we put the ground in the water, it all depends on how much of a ground you have in there and how much amps it's going to draw. This amp meter's broken, but something like this is probably going to draw about 2 amps. So this is the charger we're going to use. Let me get the salt water. So the salt water I keep in a bucket, filled with water, salt in it. As long as you see solid salt in there, you know you get the full concentration. Iron Fighter salt pellets for a water softener or etching. All right, let me get a container. All right, so I took some of the paint off the end, a little bit of sawdust on it. The goat ready to go. Black Raven. Put it in there oriented like this. Connect up the positive and plug it in. Make sure that it's not going to fall over and hit the ground. Oh, this is going to etch fast. You can see all the bubbles. It's actually flowing real good. So we're going to run this for about 5 minutes. Doesn't take long. All right, 5 minutes is up. I suggest setting a timer for etching. Why? Because you might go upstairs, get distracted, down and have a fucking mess. And you know, I worked so hard on it, it's still crooked. Why is that? I never noticed that until after I etch it. You feel that it's raised a little bit. Let's see how the other side did. You can feel that, but you know what? I'm just gonna wipe it off a little bit and stick it in there for another 3 minutes. And maybe 2 minutes. take the paint off of it, polish it up, and throw it on a new axe handle. Make sure you wash this off good with fresh water, because this will rust real quick. All right, so we're gonna go wash it off first, then we'll clean it off. Clean off all the paint. All right, to clean it up, we're gonna use some acetone. Grab some gloves, because if you're messing with this stuff all the time, it kind of bothers your hands. I found that a brass brush, make sure it's brass, check it with a magnet. Some of the cheap ones might just be painted brass color. Brass brush will leave fewer scratch marks on it than a steel brush. Also try steel wool. Really fine steel wool might work. But I plan on sanding this again after I'm done. So just avoid the areas we just etched. All right, so after I polish this up, I'm going to hit this area with some something to darken it. I only sanded it down to 600 grit. Right? Using that palm sander was a mistake. I left swirl marks on it. I don't feel like bringing that down further, so this is going to be my throwing axe. But I do want to tape. I think I'm just going to spray paint black glossy, maybe do the letters a slightly different color. So I'm going to tape this off, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut around the different areas I'm going to spray paint different colors and see how it comes out. All right, we went with oil rubbed bronze. Let that dry. And we'll do the rest of the letters. And then we'll sand it down again. So can you etch an axe on an Atomstack Pro? That would be a no. But you can etch away the mask and then electro etch it.